Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation we're going to see how we go about creating a virtual install of Kali Linux using VirtualBox. Most recently for 2020, Offensive Security has done major upgrades for Kali Linux, and that's why we're going to go ahead and redo the lab and the video for this new install. This new version of Kali Linux is a major upgrade. It has an all-new user interface. The desktop is completely different, and there's a lot of things under the hood that have been updated as well. This lab will require an install of Oracle VirtualBox, the latest edition, and that would be 6.1.4, which is the version that I'm currently using on my host machine. You'll also need to download the free download manager so that you can get this large download and not have it interrupted. And if it is interrupted with the download manager, you'll be able to pick up right where you left off. All the links for any of this open source and free software that I am demonstrating is available to you inside of the lab file. So you can open up the lab file and you can click on those links that are presented to you in the lab file and get access to these three pieces of software. Now it's important that you get the right version of Kali Linux for the particular hypervisor that you're using. So I'm using VirtualBox, so I want to make sure that I use the OVA file that is built for VirtualBox. So I'm up inside of the download page for Kali Linux and the VirtualBox OVA file. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the torrent file, and I'm going to say open with, and it's already associated with free download manager. I'm going to say OK to that, and now the free download manager pops up, and I'm going to go ahead and accept the default download location, or I can choose it to another location if I so choose. Now if you want to save your particular OVA file or OSA files to a particular partition, you can do so just by clicking here, and I'm going to go into my F drive, and then I'm going to save this to my F partition. I'm going to go ahead and say OK to that, and now I'm going to just click on download. Once the download settles down, you'll notice that the time starts to drop dramatically. Now once your download is complete, just browse on over to where you saved that download. Find the OVA file for Kali Linux 2020.1, and all you have to do is just double click it. It's going to associate itself inside of VirtualBox. So as long as you have VirtualBox installed, you can now just double click the OVA file. It will find VirtualBox and begin the installation for you. Now you can go ahead and read all this if you like. It just tells you everything that is configured inside of the OVA file for this particular virtual installation. Go ahead and click on import, and you have to agree to the new Offensive Security terms of agreement. Go ahead and click on agree, and the installation will begin. And now that the OVA file for Kali Linux has been imported into my VirtualBox, all I have to do is highlight that installation over in the left window pane, and then I can click on the green start arrow above inside of the taskbar, and the installation begins. You can go ahead and press enter if you want to speed up the process. You notice that it has a new dragon and some other new features that you will see as we get closer to the desktop. And once Kali has completed its boot up, you have to type in the new username, which is Kali, all lowercase, and the password, which is Kali, all lowercase. And then you just press login. So the first thing we probably want to do is stop Kali from logging us off after 5 minutes of inactivity. To do this, we're going to go up here to this icon that looks like a lightning bolt. This is the settings for the virtual machine. Just click on that, and now you can scroll down till you come to Power Manager Settings. Go ahead and click on that. Here you can go ahead and click on Display, What you want to do is just move everything over to the left so that it won't log you off or go to sleep after 10 minutes. Next, underneath security, you want to make sure that you uncheck the lock screen when system is going to sleep. Uncheck that. And over here, pull down this window and you're going to select never. Automatically lock the session, never. Now you can go ahead and close. And now Kali will not log you off after 5 minutes of inactivity. The next thing we need to discuss is how to properly power off or restart this virtual machine of Kali. To do this, you're just going to go all the way over here to the left and click on this start button. This brings up the start menu, and you have log out, restart, shut down, and some other options. This is the only way you should be restarting or shutting down your installation of Kali. This is an actual operating system, and if you try to shut it down just by going up here and clicking on the X in the taskbar, it's no different than pulling out the power cord in the back of your host machine and powering down your machine improperly that way. Go ahead and click on cancel. Now the next thing we want to do is update this version of Kali Linux. So we're going to go ahead and open up a terminal, and we can access a terminal up here in this quick launch bar over to the left of our Kali desktop. Just go ahead and click on that. All these commands that I'm about to show you can be gotten from inside of the lab file. I'm going to go ahead and paste in the command from my lab file, and that is app space update space ampersand space app space -y. The -y answers the question, are you sure you want to proceed? And I want to do a full upgrade. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Now it tells you that you don't have permission. This is the one that we want to watch right here. And we don't have permission because we're logged on as a normal user now. And this is one of the new features of Kali Linux with the 2020-1 version. We're no longer allowed to log on by default as the root, so we have to make a root account. Start this process. I'm going to go ahead and clear my screen. And the next command that I'm going to type in is sudo space su, which stands for super user. So I want to log on currently as super user with my default account that I'm currently using. And you get a warning here about what's going to happen and what could happen if you abuse this type of power. Alright, so the current password for my user, which is named Kali, is Kali. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Kali. Now you're not going to be able to see the password when you type it in. So just go ahead and hit enter. And you'll notice that your prompt changes to let you know that you are currently now logged on as root. Now the next thing we have to do is add our current account as a root and type in a root password. Now to do this, I'm going to type in password root. Now the next thing we have to do is configure our account, which is logged on as root, with a root password. So I'm going to go ahead and type in password root, and wants me to type in the new password. So I'm now going to get back to the old Kali, and I'm going to log on as root, and I'm going to use the old password of Tor. So I'm just going to type in TOOR. I'm going to type it in again, and remember, you cannot see the password as you type it. And it says that my password was updated successfully. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out now. And I'm going to log off and log back in. But this time, I'm going to log back in as root. And I'm going to enter that password for root, which was Tor. I'll hit enter. And now, when I'm inside of the desktop, I will be the root user or the super user root. And we can see this just by opening up a terminal prompt. And you'll see now that I am logged on as root. And we're now ready to proceed with our upgrade. So again, I've typed in that command to perform the update and the upgrade. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And you'll notice that this time it actually works. If you're not familiar with updating a Linux machine or Kali Linux, then you must learn to be patient and allow the update process to complete uninterrupted. If you run into issues trying to perform an upgrade with your Kali Linux, check the lab file. There are additional steps for troubleshooting. Now, some virus scanners are going to detect that the Kali downloading process is a malware attack, and it's going to alert you that it has stopped the connection. If that happens, you're going to have to go into your virus scanner and you're going to have to stop the Avast Shield. You can either stop it permanently or you can stop it until your computer is restarted. Now that your Kali Linux has completed its updating and upgrading, you want to go ahead and make a snapshot so that you can have this as a fallback in case something happens to your installation of Kali and you need to roll back to a previous time. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make a snapshot, and this is really easy. I've got my Kali powered off, and I'm just going to go ahead and select it, and then I'm going to go up here up in the taskbar where it says take, and I'm going to take a snapshot, and I'm just going to give it a user-friendly name. I'm going to call it Clean Install with Upgrade, just like that. And I'm going to click OK. And now when I start Kali, the first thing it's going to do is going to create this snapshot of the current configuration with the upgrade that we just completed. So let's go ahead and start it. Go ahead and hit enter. And go ahead and log on as root. So to create a snapshot, we have to power on Kali. Now to restore Kali to a previous state, we need to power Kali off. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down gracefully. Once your Kali has completely shut down, you can go back inside your VirtualBox, the left window pane, highlight the machine that you want to restore, and then just select from the taskbar the restore option. At that time, you can create a snapshot of the current machine state if you so desire, and if you don't, just uncheck the box and then just go ahead and click on restore. Now for the restore to complete, you must restart Kali, and when you restart Kali, it will begin the process of rolling you back to that current snapshot. Inside of the lab file are some additional steps for Mac users on how to configure their network settings. So if you have a problem with your AeroNet wireless adapter not being compatible with VirtualBox, look at the lab file and follow the steps on how to install a VirtualBox virtual adapter for your Mac machine. And that's going to conclude this short video presentation on how we go about creating a virtual install of Kali Linux using VirtualBox. So if you have any questions or concerns about anything that was presented to you in this short video presentation, don't hesitate to reach out and contact your instructor, and I'll see you in my next video.